everyone, welcome to Pineapple Knits, a knitting and spinning videocast. I'm Marina, and you can find me everywhere on the web at Pineapple Yarn, especially Instagram where I'm most active. And you can visit my hand-dyed yarn, fiber, and candle company at pineappleyarn.com. Thanks so much for joining me this week. If this is your first time here, welcome, and I hope that you enjoy what you see. This podcast is mostly about knitting and spinning with some things here and there in between, but that's what it's mostly about. So I hope you enjoy it, and thanks for joining me today. I'm coming to you today from the coastal South Carolina region in the US. It's so beautiful here. It's been raining off and on the past 2 weeks, so honestly, I'm so thrilled with this weather. It's probably 70 plus degrees right now, sunny. It feels so amazing. It's really wonderful. And actually, I'm starting to get a little warm, not gonna lie, but that's okay. I'll take it. Yeah, so it's just really beautiful. I'm hoping that my microphone does okay picking up my voice and my voice only, because I can hear my kids going in and out of the house because they're playing in the backyard, which is totally fine. But I have a neighbor who's quite a ways away from me, and I just don't know. I don't know if it's just how the trees are funneling sound or something, but he loves like classic rock music, like 70s rock, and I am serious. I think he has a microphone and sings and blasts his music outside. And he's retired. I guess it's just warm and that's what he wants to do. I don't know if he has a band and he's practicing. I don't know. But hopefully you can hear only me and not classic rock music from my neighbor way down the street. Anyway, today I am drinking from a proper teacup. And my friend Shauna from Adelaide Cottage gifted me this last year, and I love this mug so much. It's actually warm enough here where I feel like I can drink tea from a cup and not my insulated mug, which I usually do. And this is a new tea. This is from Stash, and it is coconut mango. Definitely not for everybody, I think. It's delicious though. I absolutely love it. If you like that kind of tropical coconut, mango, I think it has a little bit of pineapple in there. It's super good. It smells so good. The base of the tea is oolong, so it's just, it's not black tea. It doesn't have any caffeine in it. Not that I know of anyway. But it's so delicious and totally has me longing for summer, and yeah, it's delicious though. I have so many fun things to share with you today. I'm so excited. The first thing that I'm going to share with you is what I'm wearing. Yes, I'm so excited. It's my banana leaf shawl. It is so beautiful. I cannot even tell you. The pattern is Banana Leaf by Yuki Ueda. I've been talking about this for the past several weeks. I love this so much. I'm going to take it off. So what I did, well, first of all, I used my Pineapple Yarn 2019 Advent Calendar. It was 24 20-gram minis, and I did not use them all. I'm going to make a Ravelry project page. Oh goodness. And I'm going to weigh it, and I will let you know how much yarn I exactly used. But this is actually, I'll start at the beginning. This is day one right here. So there's 24 colors in here, and I dyed this last year for Advent, and it makes a beautiful gradient, but it is massively long. I mean, so long. Yeah. It's really long. And I even, when I went to block this, I actually measured the width, and I blocked it 17.5 inches across. just to not make it as long as it actually could be. You could make this so long if you blocked it. Oh goodness. Yeah. So this is how I'm wearing it today. I just looped it around once so you could see all the colors really, really well. But you could, by all means, you could loop this around twice and it would be totally long enough. I love this so much. If you have missed the past couple of podcasts and you want to see more about this, definitely check them out. I explain more about what I did as far as modifying the pattern to use fingering weight yarn. The original pattern uses a lace weight. And the other thing I wanted to mention are the ends. So this end is the beginning, and it was much more of a blunt point, as I had mentioned in the last podcast, than this one. And I just kind of blocked them out the best I could to match each other. They still don't match perfectly. I'm sure you could make a modification either with the, at the beginning, the increases to get that V, or the decreases. I'm sure you could do something so they mirrored each other a little better, but I didn't. By the time I got to the end and realized that it was going to be so much pointier than at the beginning, I was just ready to cast off. This was such an enjoyable knit. Once you get the pattern going, you really don't need to look at the instructions until you need to bind off. And, well, not bind off, but decrease. That's when you need the pattern again. Yeah, so this was so enjoyable. So enjoyable. I'm trying to think what else to say about it. I really recommend it for any kind of yarn. I mean, the neat thing is about this, and I'll give you a close-up of some of the more variegated areas. Like this section right here is very variegated, speckled, lots of different colors, but you can still see that rib pattern and the spine in the middle, as well as some of the other areas that are more lightly speckled. Banana leaf shawl, it's done. I love it, and I'm sure I will get a lot of use out of it this year. Next on the list of finished objects are some socks that I knit for someone. I'm not going to say who because they may be watching this podcast, but these socks are just the same socks that I've been showing. Here's the heel. I actually had them all folded up to send, and then I realized I want to show them on the podcast. I'm not going to put a blocker in them though, just because they are the same socks that I've been showing week after week. I made these on my circular sock machine. It's an Erlbacher Gearhart. I love it. A Speedster. This colorway is called Siren Song, and this is actually one of the colorways that frogged. I frogged my Texture Time Shawl by Stephen West, and this was one of the colors that was used in it, and it's just such a pretty color. It actually has, it may be washing out on camera, but it actually has these beautiful like aqua turquoise spots along with this beautiful like almost like a pale sage green. Beautiful colors. And then of course you can see these different colors of purple speckles. This was so pretty, and I haven't dyed it in quite a while. Would love to dye this again. I am really gonna have to hunt for this recipe though. I just went through my dye book. I have a big book full of all of my dye recipes, and I don't remember seeing this, so I have to go back and look specifically. Anyway, that's it. Just some really standard socks. So I'm not going to get into them too much, but that's those. So they'll make a really sweet gift, and I hope that the gift recipient likes them a lot because I love knitting them. I love the colorway. So that's that. Since I cast off of one object and finished it, of course I started another one. And I don't know why I want to do this, but I've wanted to knit a DK weight shawl for quite a while. And I do plan on knitting with some of my hand spun in the future, but I wanted to just do like a 3-color DK weight shawl. I just really wanted to do that. So this week I cast on the Odyssey shawl. I think the pattern is just called Odyssey by Locatelli. I did a Ravelry search of patterns that would use, you know, for a DK weight shawl, and this one came up, the Odyssey shawl, and this is what I have so far. This colorway is one of my yarns, pineapple yarn in Sights on Summer, and which is a little funny. I knew as soon as I cast on a DK weight shawl, it would get warm. But isn't this colorway fun? It's probably washing out a lot when it's closer to me. It's away from the light, so it's a little bit truer to color, but it's just it's like some pale neon. So pale neon coral and pale neon pink, along with a variety of different speckles, all neon speckles. So this is really pretty. So far, that's the cake, and I've used quite a bit so far. Right now I am just beginning the lace section, and yeah, this is, I don't know if I just mentioned this is a free pattern, which is crazy. Yeah, so if you are in the market for a DK weight shawl, this is going to be really cool. Let me show you really quickly the other 2 colors I'm going to be using. The next color I'm going to be using is Colorbox from Pineapple Yarn. My cakes are already getting messy from being in my project bag, but this one it just has some more saturated colors than the last. So you can see this has a lot more pink. This has more, it does have some pink in it, but it has like more kind of oranges and yellows. So those 2 will go together. Oh gosh, I think I said this was Colorbox. This isn't. This is called Pacific Dreams. This is called Colorbox. And so this is the way they will look together. And this one, it does pick up on some of the colors of the other 2, but it has a lot of greens and blues in it, so it is a lot different, but I still wanted to use it, so I just decided I was going to do it. We'll see. I mean, I might change my mind. What I really wanted to do is use a color that had more neon yellow in it. But I love this color so much. I don't know if you can see all of the neons in this, but this one is just so fun. So if I don't use it for this project, I will definitely use it for another because it's so pretty. So I don't know. I would love to hear what you think about the colors together. Each section is, I guess in between each section is kind of a lace section. Otherwise, I would fade these together and they would be really neat, but it's definitely kind of color blocked. And so I'm thinking I may change Colorbox, this top color, to something more like the other 2. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I have time. For this pattern, I went down a needle size as I always do. I'm using a US 7, and I'm using my Addi clicks like I always do. And this is currently being housed in one of my big pineapple yarn project bags. I don't have any of these in the shop right now, but I really love it. It's a drawstring and it has sheep all over it. So it's great. It does its job and I love it. So now I'm going to turn to spinning, and this is everything I've been working on this week. Now I did finish 2 skeins, but I did show you them as they were on the bobbin last week, but I just want to show you how they turned out after I fold them a little bit. Now this one is made from rolags that two of my children, what's the word? Rolags, brushed, assembled, rolled, I don't know. Rolags are, for those of you who may not know, they are like, basically you have a big board called a blending board, and it has teeth. It's like a big brush kind of, and then you brush wool or other fibers on top of it, and then take that thin, it ends up being like a thin layer of wool, and you roll it up around like a dowel or something of that shape, and then you end up with like a tube of wool, and you can spin from it. So that's kind of that. I should show some rolags on the podcast. Next time I make some up, I will, because it just occurred to me that I definitely, 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't have known what rolags were, which is so crazy because I love to spin so much now. So I will show you those the next time I make some up. But anyway, my kids love to do it, and then they also spun this up. So it is very uneven and kind of just has a life of its own. I did full this somewhat, meaning I basically felted it because this is a single ply. It's not plied on itself. And so I want to make sure that some of these parts that are a little thicker and don't have a lot of twist in them, I just want to make sure that they don't come apart. The way I did that, which is not, I'm sure not the proper way, but I put this into a basin, and I put like dish soap on it, and then I pour quite like borderline hot water on it, and I just take a gloved hand. It's not hot enough to burn me, but it's definitely hot enough if you wanted to felt wool, you could. But I just move my hand, I just press on it back and forth, and just to agitate it. And after I do that for a bit, I drain the water, and then I pour cold water on it to shock it. And I do that a couple of different times. I've seen people use tiny, like small plungers that you might use for your garbage disposal. I've seen people use that. I just, like, this is good enough for me. So yeah, I cannot wait to make something up with this. I think it'll be so whimsical and fun, and I'm excited that I have a couple kids at least who enjoy doing crafts with me like this. So that was really fun. And I do have links. I'll link below to, if you're interested in doing a blending board, creating rolags, or if you want to see where to buy the wool. I usually get all of my things from Paradise Fibers, and so I'll put some links below so you can check them out for yourself. This is the next yarn that I finished. This is a beautiful BFL, and it is a worsted to bulky weight, pretty sure. I think it turned out so, so pretty. Now this was a fiber I had dyed, and I know last week I said I felt like it was too compressed to sell in the shop. I had no problem spinning this up, but I want to make sure when I sell things in my shop that they're good quality. So yeah, this is how it turned out. I absolutely love it. I mean, this barber pulling is just, it's so, so pretty. And even though this looks really chunky and thick, it's actually pretty light. I spun this with a short, it was a supported backward draft for the most part. So it does have some woolen spun characteristics. It will be very warm. It does not feel dense at all. Yeah, I was incredibly happy with this. So this is really fun. I have some other similar toned yarns that I've spun up in the past. And so I think that I will probably pair this with them and knit some kind of shawl. You know what I would love is the, what is the shawl series that Andrea Mowry did? The Shift. So there's like the Shift sweater, and she did, this is really bad because I knit this pattern. Anyway, I would love for something to be a pattern like that slip stitch pattern, which looks so good. That motif looks so good with hand spun, uneven hand spun even. It looks so great. But I would love for that to be in like a crescent shape or like more of a boomerang shape, something that's not a triangle. I don't know. That was one thing about the Odyssey shawl that I'm knitting right now. It's a very long, shallow shawl, which is hands down what I love. I love that so much. So anyway, hey, this is done and I loved it. I actually spun this on my largest whorl, which I want to say is a 4-to-1 ratio, and that worked out great. So that's that. Now I did spin another, or started another project because I just needed to. This is a superwash merino nylon blend, and this is one bobbin done. What I do sometimes when I am dyeing fiber, sometimes I'll have leftover fibers that are less than 100 grams, and I always overweigh my fiber, and so the way my fiber comes, it's in a big bump. It's in like a massive roll, for lack of better words, and so I have to weigh each piece, and I always overweigh 100 grams, so it just doesn't come out evenly, and it's fine. So sometimes what I do is I do little dye experiments or whatnot, and I just finished a little dye experiment, and this is what I did. These are the same colors on the yarn that I have in the shop called Run, Don't Walk. So it's deep green, deep purple, neon green, and then this fiber I left white in it. I'll go ahead, I do have a little bit left of the second bobbin. This is kind of what it looked like. So it had the neons, the whites, you see like the dark green here, the dark purple. It's kind of just all over the place. I liked the way I dyed this. The only thing that I would do differently next time is I would put more neon green in it, because I think that it was too, well, I love the neons. So that's one of them, but or one reason, but I just thought there was too much darkness in here. I like a lot of contrast. So that will be that, and I'm doing it the same, I'm using the same technique as I did with the last BFL skein I showed you. So I'm doing kind of, it'll end up being like a worsted to a bulky, probably more of a bulky weight yarn. And, or maybe even like, I want to say maybe an Aran weight, actually. That's probably a better term. So yeah, this was really fun, and it will be finished very soon, I am sure. It has been spinning up so fast. I would love to spin a consistent DK weight. That would be my ideal weight. I feel like that's a really versatile weight, but right now I'm just trying to get a really consistent worsted to Aran, probably an Aran weight yarn. And so yeah, I've been happy with it. It's been really great, and I've really been into spinning lately. I've really been loving it, so that's awesome. And I did want to show you one thing that I was talking about last week. I should mention right now, my candle that's burning is the scent from March's Sun Club, and it's called Mojito, and it smells so good. It's delicious. So all of these pieces that I wanted to show you are a new jumbo flyer that I purchased through Paradise Fibers. It's for my Krumsky Minstrel, and in order to get a jumbo bobbin and a jumbo, like a larger whorl, I actually have to get like the whole new flyer set. So I just wanted to show you. Look at this whorl. This is massive. And the whorl I have right now is, the whole thing is smaller than this inner circle. This is so slow. That's crazy. I can't remember the ratio, but this would spin some very chunky weight yarn. This is great. This will be so great for my kids because it slows everything down. It'll be so much easier for them to spin. It actually comes with a new maiden, so I have to put that on my wheel in order to use it. And on this sits the orifice. So here's the orifice and the flyer. This is what the yarn actually goes through, and the bobbin sits on this rod right here. But the maiden and the orifice, it sits like that on the wheel. But this flyer is huge, and it goes with this bobbin. I can't tell you, when I got this in the mail, I was like, oh my gosh, this is huge. And compared to this bobbin, I don't know if you can see how much bigger this is, but this holds quite a bit more, which is so awesome. Now, I don't know, I have not compared this bobbin with its whorl size to my current, I guess, slower whorl. I use my wheel double drive, and so it kind of, you have to be careful about your whorl size and your bobbin size, or sorry, your bobbin end and your whorl end. They need to be, this always needs to be smaller, this end, than your whorl, or it doesn't work. There's no uptake, it doesn't work. I love spinning double drive though, and that's actually why I purchased the Chrome Ski Minstrel, is because, yeah, it does double drive and I love it. But anyway, that's what I got, and I plan on using this all for, number one, for the kids when they want to spin from rolags or from some kind of prepped fiber, because even the largest whorl on my spinning wheel now is too fast for them. And so it just gets frustrating and too much twist is entering. And so until they can really get their hands moving a little faster, this will be so great. And it'll also be great, I don't know if this will work, but it would be great if I could use a jumbo bobbin and this larger flyer set with the larger, not this whorl size, but the other whorl that I normally use, because I would love to spin, 100 grams of fiber or 4 ounces of fiber, and then do like a 3-ply, not a 3-ply, a chain ply with all the fiber on one bobbin. Right now, I can barely fit 4 ounces on one bobbin. It is a struggle, and I know I should be able to, and I'm usually pretty good with my yarn management, I guess, on the bobbin, so I don't have any like hills and bumps. I do really try and keep everything smoothed out and even, so it's just space-wise more can fit on, but I think I can probably fit 100 grams on. Even then, it gets real full with that. So yeah, I'm excited to maybe do some experiments on this and see just how it can increase the versatility of my wheel, because I really love my wheel, and I'm not an expert. This is my first wheel, and I am definitely not a seasoned spinner. I've had it for about 1.5 years, I think, and I haven't used any other wheels. So just, in all fairness, this is the wheel I know. And, it's a good thing I like it then, right? But, yeah, so that's been really fun. And I think that is all I want to share with you today. I just plan on working on my Odyssey shawl this week and wearing my banana leaf shawl all the times that I can. We have a couple more warm days, but after that it's gonna get cool again. So yeah, I need to wear all the knits that I can, but I probably will spin some more this week and work on my plants for my garden. Yeah, I should mention that. I know last year I was giving you updates on my garden and I kind of stopped because with Hurricane Dorian hitting us, my garden was completely underwater. And it killed most of the plants in my garden, unfortunately. But over the winter, I did have some plants that survived, and most of them, of course, was lettuce. I feel like lettuce is just so hardy and grows when nothing else grows. I'm pretty sure, in my experience, it does anyway. And so we had lettuce throughout the winter, which is wonderful. I purchased this really great, it was some kind of mix from, I think it's, is it Baker's Creek seeds? They sell heirloom seeds. I know it's rareseeds.com. And they did this really great mix. I'll link it below in the description because these seeds are so great. The lettuce is so great. It's beautiful, and that's a plus, right? But this lettuce mix was fabulous, and we had lettuce all winter, and then we had rutabagas, which, who knew these rutabagas survived? I was shocked. And so I actually just harvested, maybe a couple months ago, I harvested the last of those, and they were delicious. I roasted them in the oven, and they were really good. So yeah, I started all my seedlings. I've already had to transplant them into larger containers. They're massive. And yeah, so I'm really excited for it to be just a little bit warmer because I have plants I need to plant in the garden. I started way too many seeds. And I did that because I know there's going to be casualties. There always are casualties, you know, throughout the season. But I just planted so many vegetables, lots of melons, and I planted loofahs. So I'm excited to see if they actually make sponges. I'm so excited to see this. But yeah, so I'm just taking care of that, and I started a compost pile, and so just getting everything going, and I'm sure in the middle of the summer the middle of the summer here, like July and August, it gets pretty hot, and that's when everything kind of, except for like the really, really heat-loving vegetables, everything kind of like takes a break for a couple months. So you can kind of catch your breath a little bit before the fall veggies need to be planted and started. But yeah, it's going to ramp up here soon. I'm sure in a month I'll be planting them for sure in my garden. Everything will be planted. So that's really exciting. But I hope where you live, everything's going really well and you're enjoying your knitting and your crafting. And I will see you next week. I hope you have an awesome day. Bye.